Assalamu alaikum, guys. This is C programming lecture number 12, the exercise or the classwork. In this classwork, it's a comprehensive classwork. Write continuous C program which its main do the following. Guys, in general, if you have a question like this, my advice to you, try to follow the instructions in the question and do the parts part by part. Don't try to write all the program at once. No, try to take the point, find the solution, write the code, then go to the next point, and so on. So at the beginning, write C program, continuous C program. I will keep the program normal program without continuous, okay, until finishing the program. I will make it continuous. So the first point, prompt user to enter array size, which is n. Forget what's the array. Now we have to declare, we need integer n. So we have to ask user to enter the n. So print a message for the user. Please enter array size. Size, which is n. We forgot the quotation, put between two double quotation, and we need the go to next line, \n, semicolon, like this, and now scan function to scan the array size, which is an integer. Percentage d, then I will give this integer to n. Now we know the integer or the size of the array. So the first part done. Next, declare an array. The first one is arx of size of n and ary of size of n. It's okay. So after declaring the n, not before, after defining the n or no, or scan the value of n, you can declare the array, not before. So we can, now the array elements, they are floats. So we can use float, give the name of the array, say arx as written in the specifications, with size of n, to declare an array with size of n like this, n should be defined before, and then ary of n. Okay, second part done. The second one done. So now we declare them. Okay, now read data and store it in array arx using a function. That means we have to call a function to read the array arx elements. So to do that, we have to call a function. See, this function will not return anything, so it is a void. The name of the array is read ar. It accepts a float array with size, and its size as integer. So now let me call the function. If the function there, so we can read. I want to read. Read array ar. Okay, I want to read the array, and then I will pass arx to that function with the size of the array, which is n, and arx and n should be declared before, and n value should be defined. And then we need also to define the function. If I will run the program now, as you see, we have a problem, the function not defined, so we have to declare the function. How we can declare the function? Ctrl+C, go before the main, as I told you. Just write the declaration. This array, this function, it's a void function, will not return anything, and it will accept array of floats, so float array, and it accept another integer like this without names, no need. And then you can copy the array, the function outside the main, not inside the main. We have to define the function. The first step, remove the semicolon, and this is start of the function, end of the function. The same void read, it accepts an array, say that a, and an integer, say a, small, the size of the array. Okay, now what we are doing in this function, this function will just ask user to enter the array elements. So we need a for loop, so integer counter I, we can use I, and we need say that write a for loop. Now for loop we can write I equal to 0 starting from 0. I should be less than the size of the array. By the way, the n not accessible in this function, because n it's belong to the main function. Its local variable belongs to the main function. If n it's a global, it can be accessed from the function, but n it's a local in the main, that means you can use n in the main only. But remember that the n value passed to a, so we can use it. So I equal less than a, then I plus plus. This is the start of the for loop, this is the end of the for loop. Now inside the loop we just want the user to enter the values, so we can print and scan. Let me copy the print and scan, put them here. So please enter element number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5. So write element number, reserve a space for integer, and from where I will get this integer, from I plus 1. Why plus 1? Because I told you I want to display a clear message that first element, so for the first element I value will be 0, so better to write I plus 1. Then scan this element. By the way, array elements, they are floats, so I will scan a float and give it to the array. The name of the array, it's AR, in which location it depends on the I value. Remember that, sorry, not array, not AR. Remember that the ARX here passed to the function. When it passed to the function, the address of ARX will be passed to A. That means both of them, this array and this array pointing to the same location, same address. So that means when you filling the A, you are filling the ARX actually. Why? Because A points to the address of ARX. When you call this function, the address of ARX will be passed to this array. Now, and this is only for the arrays, not for the variables. Now, when we finish this loop, that means we are saving all of the elements in the array, and that's it. So this is just a simple function. Run the function as you see. Please enter n, say that 2 elements only, just to start to try the function. Now it's okay, the program running well, no problems, no mistakes, no errors. Next step, this one done. Now next step, using switch statement, ask user to select one of the following, or -55 to exit. Okay, stop here. We want to ask user to select an option. So this option, there are numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can use option like this. Okay, now we want to ask user to enter the option. So let me copy the code and paste it here. Please enter say that as example, we can enter like this, and then go to next line like this. In the next line, let me just make one space here and one space here. Okay, what we should do here, print 1 to copy. Okay, guys, let me, okay, the question doesn't say that enter 1 or 2 or 3. It just says the options and give them number 1, 2, 3, 4. It's easy to make it with option equal to with option and integer option or a number, integer number. So let me change the idea. I want to make it using as a string as example, or character. We can do it. So let me declare a character here, better character, say option, control V, and this is as a character. So I want to ask user to enter C to copy like this, okay, and then go to next line, and then let me copy this one again, Control C and paste it here, and S for to sort, the second option S to sort, and the third option find the max. Say we can write M, Control V M to find max, and the next option it is find the average, say A as example, Control V, type A to find the average, and then the last one P to print as example. Okay, we can Control V, P to print, P to print. So here print, we can write a print here, and this one A for average, for average, for average, okay, and the M for max, for max, and here S to sort, and C to copy, like this. Okay, let me run the program, and then sorry, before that we want to scan this character. Before scanning this character, just write one space inside, okay, and then here, because I'm reading a character after something else, so better to keep one space here and give it to the option. Remember that the option is a character here. Save, run your program, and check what will happen. Say size is 3, enter element number 1, number 2, number 3. Now please enter C to copy, S to sort, M for max, A for average, and P to print. Okay, and we forgot the last option, which is -55 to exit. Let me change it from number -55 to E, just to practice as a character, okay, or 0, one of them, no problem. So to exit E, better, okay. So we can change the message here, or we can write finally or E to exit, or E to exit, okay. And next, okay, we asked the user to enter the option. Now what are the options? The first option, to copy array. We want to copy array arx into ary using a function. This function is void, it will not return anything. The name of the function is copy ar. It accepts two arrays, float arrays. Surely we should accept arx and ry, and integer, which is the size of the arrays. Now we have to use switch statement. I want to switch using the variable option. Our option here, it depends on the value of the option. This is start of the switch, end of the switch. In case that the option equal to the character, which is C, copy, what we should do in this case, we want to call a function, and this function should copy array arx to ary. So the name of the function is copy array, copy ar, as written in the question. We have to pass arx at the beginning, followed by ary, and the size, which is n of the array. The function will copy the elements. How? We will see later. Now once we finish, once we call the function and the function will copy, we want to break the switch statement better. Now regarding the function, Ctrl C, if I will run the program will display a message that the copy function, copy r, not defined. So how we can define it? At the beginning, before the main, we have to write the declaration. Now remember that this is a void function and accept two float arrays. The first one, it's a float array, second float array, and the last one, it's an integer, which is the size. And then we can copy this one, Ctrl C, and go outside the main, after the main. Doesn't matter before this function or after, because the main function will decide which one will be called at the beginning before the other one. So this is the start of the function. This is the end of the function. Now remember that arx will be go to here, so you can say that a1 here, array 1, array 2, and the function and the variable say a. Now remember that the address of arx will be sent to a1, address of ary will to a2. So the a1 pointing to address of arx and a2 pointing to address of ary, and the value of a, it's a copy of n. So now we want to go from one element to another. We need integer, we need for loop. So we have as example a counter I, and we can start the for loop. The for loop start from I equal to 0, the first index. I should be less than the size of the array. Size of the array, it's n, and n passed to a, we can use a, and then I should be incremented by 1, and this is the start of the loop, this is the end of the loop. Inside the loop, I'm just copying. How we can copy? We want to declare the array ary, define the array element, depends on the I. So ar of I equal ar of x. So it depends on the I value. When I equal to 0, that means arx of 0, the first element, will be passed or assigned to ary of 0. The first element in x is the first element in array y. That's it. This function will not return anything. This is the function copy. Now let me run just to check that if the program running well. Variable are not defined because, yes, I forgot. I told you that arx address passed to a1 and ary passed to a2. That means a1 pointing to the address of arx and a2 pointing to the address of ary. So instead of like this, you can write ar2 a2 equal a1, a2 equal a1, because this is represent ay, this is represent ax. Okay, run the program again. Enter array size 3, element number 1, number 2, number 3. It's okay, or e to exit. We have to go to next line after e. Anyway, stop the program. Let me go back to the message here and copy \n, Control C, Control V like this. Okay, save the program. So the program running well now. Next step, sort the array, sort arx and store it in the same array using function void sort ar float array integer. Again, this function, it's a void function, it will not do anything, it just sort the array. So we want to sort it which array? Array x. Now we have to copy this case, Control C like this, Control V, align it well like this. Okay, now we want to sort array, sort ar, same thing. I want to pass array arx and its size, which is n, this is a mistake, I'm sorry. Here should be a break, like this better. So after sorting the array of arx, we want to break because it says that just sort. Okay, now regarding the sort, again, definition of the sort, we can copy this one, Control C, Control V, doesn't matter where is it, before or after. It's just declaration, void, the name is sort array, sort ar. Okay, remember that's void, accepting an array and its size, which is integer. We can, how we can sort, we need, let me copy the copy function, Control C, before or after, doesn't matter guys. It should be after the main, that's it. This is paste, as you see, this is the copy of the function. The name here, it should be sort ar. It accept an array, a1, say that. Remove this one. Okay, accept an array, say a, no need for 1 or 2, and integer, which is the size of the array a, a copy of n will be passed to a, as you see here. Integer I. Now how we can sort, if you remember the sorting algorithm, we need a nested loop. The outer loop, if you remember, it's a loop used to hold the position in the array, and the inner loop, which is if you remember, we need a loop to go from next position to compare it with the current position. So remember that in my left hand I'm holding the position. This is the outer loop. In my right hand I'm going from one position to another to compare it with the holded position. So we have two loops, the outer loop to hold, the inner loop to compare. So we need I and j as a counters. In the inner loop, I should start from 0. I should be less than or equal to a. Inside this loop, what we will write? We will write the other loop for. We need j. J should start from next I. If I equal to 0, j should be I plus 1. I plus 1. Then j should be less than a, and then j plus. This is the inner loop to compare between the elements. Now I'm holding in my left hand the value of a of I, okay, and I'm using my right hand to pick a of j, that means next element, and compare it with a of I. So if a of j greater than a of I want to swap the values. If not, I will keep the elements as they. I'm sorting here from the largest to lowest. So we can write just a statement if the compared element, which is a of j, greater than the holded element, which is a of I. If this is true, what I will do, I want to swap the values. If not true, don't do anything. How we can swap the values? We use a dummy variable, third variable, say d equal a of I or j. It's up to you. I or j. It's up to you. If you start by a of I, that means next element will be a of j equal to, a of I equal to a of j, okay. And finally we can write a of j equal to d, and in this case we have to declare the d because array elements, they are floats. We can declare a float d. So here we can write float d, just variable to make swap. That's it. I'm using it to make swap only. It's dummy variable like this. Okay, again, this loop, the outer loop to hold the position in my left hand. So it is the current position a of I. Now when I equal to 0, we need to go using my right hand from the next element. So this is why the first j equal to I plus 1. So I'm comparing each time a of j, the element in my right hand, with a of I, the element in my left hand. So the left hand loop, it's the outer loop. The right hand loop is the inner loop. You are fixing the location in the outer loop and changing the location in the inner loop. So when I equal to 0, j equal to 1, then 2, then 3 until reach a minus 1, and so on. And this is how we can make the swap. Run the program to check that we don't have any problem here. Yes, this is duplication. I forgot to change it to S. Run the program again. We have a problem here. We forgot to write semicolon. We are learning from our mistakes. This is the size 1, the first element. We can choose S as example. Okay, everything okay. Now next step. We finished the sorting now. Next step, find the max in array arx using max ar. Same story, guys. We have to go to the main again, copy this case, Ctrl C, go to here, Ctrl V, use the tab to align them together like this better. Okay, now we have to call a function max array. This function is not a void, it's a function. It will return uh, the maximum element in the array. The array elements, they are floats, so it will return a float. So better to say that the max here equal to max of the array, and then we will print the maximum using a Brent function. So Control C, Control V here. We can write the maximum in the array, in array arx is, reserve a space for a float, and then go to next line. Go to next line like this, end the quotation, and now from where I will get the value from the max, and max should be declared before. So let me go back to floats here and declare also the max. Now if we run the program, we don't have a problem here. Here the application also, I'm sorry, say M for max, run the program, we don't have mistakes. The only mistake is that the max AR is not defined. What we should do, we can take a copy of the read, Control C, and paste it here, Control V. The name of the function is max of array AR. Max AR, it accept an array and integer, and it return a float because the float elements, the array elements is float. I think this is just a typing mistake here. This one should be float, not integer. Float maximum of the array, because array elements, they are floats, not integers. And then we have to copy the function declaration, go outside the main. Doesn't matter where exactly, it should be outside the main anywhere, and open the function. Okay, the function will accept an array, say A, and an integer which is the size, say A small. To find the maximum, we need to go from one element to another, so we have a for loop, so we need integer counter, say I. We need the value of the result, which is the maximum, say that res, which is a float. We can write float res like this, and then semicolon, and also we need a for loop, say I start from 0, I should be less than the size of the array, which is A, and also I should be incremented by 1. Now this is the start of the for loop, this is the end of the for loop. After finishing the loop, it should return the value, which is the result here, the result. Okay, semicolon. Now how we can find the maximum? If you remember the algorithm, I told you to compare the elements, you have to start from the first element. So we can say that result if the I value, we are in the first element or first location, if I equal to 0, just in this one location, we can say that the result, which is the maximum, equal the current element, which is A of I, and this will happen just once when I equal to 0. That means you are starting the maximum value with the value equal to the first element value. Then we have to compare if the current element, which is A of I greater than the result, which is the maximum, res. Okay, if this is true, what we should take the value of the current value and save it in the result. So result equal the current element. Why? Because the current element is larger than the max, which is the result. Just like this. Run the program. Okay, to check if we have a mistake. We don't have a mistake. This is 2, 1, 2. select the third option. I'm sorry, I wrote 3, it's wrong. Okay, anyway, we don't have any mistake. We finished this part, finding the max. Same thing for the average of array. We need the average of the array. The average array, same thing, the average. So what I will do, I will copy the same option, Control C, and paste it here, Control V. Use the tab to align them together. We can write AVG. I told you the max and average should be declared as a floats, so we can write AVG here. Same story. We want to call the function. The name of the function, it's AVG AR, average of the array. We have to send ARX and its size to the function. The function should calculate the average and then return it back to here and assign it to AVG, and then AVG should be printed here in the main. Now to run the program, we have a problem here. Duplication of the case, it's A for average. Run the program again. Average AR not defined, AVG not AR function not defined. We can choose the max again, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, change the name to AVG AR. It accepts a float, array, and integer, and return a float. And outside the main, we can copy the max function. We can copy the max function like this. Control C. Doesn't matter where. It's supposed to be outside the main, after the main. The name of the function is AVGAR. It accepts an array, say A, and integer, say A small. We need the loop to go from one element to another element. Float, say that result, which is the array average. For I equal 0 to A, it's okay. Now we want to calculate the average. To calculate the average, we need the sum first. Right here, declare the sum, SM. Okay, we can write the current sum equal the new sum equal the current sum plus the current element, which is A of I. This is how we can add elements to the sum. Once we finish the sum, we can return result, or if you don't like to declare the result, you can write the sum divided by A, and that's it. Return an equation. The equation should be calculated, and then the result will be found and then returned. So no need for the result here in this example. Okay, it's up to you. You can keep the variable or delete it. It's up to you. Run the program. Okay, now let us select 3 elements as example 1 and 2 and 3. Let us find the max as example M. It should be 3. Okay, the max is 3 but printed as a float. Okay, no problem. By the way, guys, we can go back to here. Select the field width and the precision -5.2. Same thing for the average, better. Run the program again. 3 elements, 1, 2, 3, and select option. We need the average A. So the average of 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 3, 6, divide by 3, it is 2. Good. Now the last one, Brent array elements. Brent the array elements. How we can print is very easy. We can first copy the case, Control C, Control V like this. But because this is just copying, just printing the array elements, it will not return anything. The name of the function is just Brent AR. We have to send now we want to print the array ARX and ARY. So at the beginning we will print ARX like this, Control C, and print the ARY like this. Now we can change this one to Y. I prefer to print the ARX after AY because ARX will be sorted according to the question requirement. So the ARY containing the original values of ARX, so we can print a message. Control C, remove this one. We can just print a message. It's not supposed, but it's okay. Brent, the original array values or elements like this, and then go to next line like this, and this is okay, just a message like this, and we can repeat the message, Control C and go. No, I'm sorry, not here. Or Control V, E small, small, and we have to write here, where is it, Bismillah, here, okay, or I forgot or, like this, okay. See, run the program. This is E small, it exits. Why we have a mistake here? Because we read this one. What's wrong here? Please enter N. I'm sorry, it's N. Run the program again. See 5 elements, element number 1, number 1, 2, number 3, number 4. Now E small to exit. So as you see, it's okay, working well. So our program is running well. Just to show you, these are the function declaration. Write the arrays like this without names, and variables without names. Inside the main, you have to call the function. It depends, it will return. This one void will not return, this one will return, so max equal. Here same thing, average will return value, so average equal. Here Brent will not return without variable here, same thing here. And these are the function. Doesn't matter which one is below, which one is before, because the main will this main will control the flow of the program. I hope that everything will understood well and clear. So thank you so much.